You started off as a hostess at a comedy club?
I started off, I was a writer. I was writing like ads and stuff. I'd gone to college and I went to Vancouver and I was going to be this, copywriter, and I worked at this ad agency for a little while. And then I started my own sort of ad business where I'd write like, I remember one of the things I wrote safety equipment for kayaking, these pamphlets, and I wrote restaurant menus, and I just had all these weird, and I had to, supplement my income. And a friend of mine said, "Oh, there's this comedy club. They're looking for a hostess," and I got really drunk and went down there. I don't know why I did that, and which was really a good thing to do, by the way, is get drunk to your job interview, because then they think that's how you are. And then you can just be drunk all the time. And then I was just drunk all the time. It's
almost like that old Stephen Wright joke. I take my driver's license picture fuzzy, so then when or something.
Is that yeah? I think stand up as a joke too about taking your driver's license drunk. So then they
take your driving test drunk.
Drunk, yeah, something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah.
I have like 19. You might be probably my most favorite podcast I've done in a while. And we haven't even started. I know.
Oh my God, I'm doing so well already.
I heard you on Marin, I think.
Oh yeah.
And you were talking about your childhood and growing up, and I did not know any of that.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't. There's so much I don't know about you.
I grew up in the 1800s. I'm a time traveler.
You literally, you grew up with a mud floor?
Yeah. You know what's weird? When I look back on it, it's like a different person. It seems weird even to me. I wanted to say that to you today, because I was like, you used to live in LA. And part of me wanted to go, I should probably text her and let her know traffic's going to be. And I was like, she lived in LA. My wife does that. My wife lived in New York. She goes, I haven't been back to New York since I had kids. And there's part of you now where I just think of you as a New York comic. Right.
I think of you.
Well, I actually came from Canada to New York. And then Then I spent like a year or something. When I got to New York, I lived in Harlem. I just lucked out and got this apartment that this old woman had died in, and the people were looking, someone who knew somebody. She was looking for someone just to stay in the apartment. So literally like 5 days after getting to New York, I had this really amazing apartment in Harlem.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this Canadian. I was like a young girl in Harlem, and
So wait,
let's start at the very beginning.
Here's what I know about you. Your sister's special needs, right?
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that. Do you remember meeting me or like knowing me in LA?
I don't know how. I feel like I've always known you, but I don't know, where did we meet?
I met you first with Mike Burton and Gary Valentine. It was the first time I ever met you.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
We were at 7. Oh fuck. And so. It's the first time I ever met you, and we were at I think Harrah's. There was a comedy club.
Was that the first time I met you? You guys were so fucking drunk in there.
Oh.
Why was I there? Who else was I with? I don't remember. I remember.
I don't remember who you were with.
Because I was friends with Gary Valentine in New York years ago when I first got to New York. One of the first people I met, because he took an acting class that I was. We both took an acting class together, and he was just the sweetest, nicest guy. And then when I met up with him and you guys, I was like, this fucking asshole.
I met you then, and then oh,
that's funny.
And then I'd see you in like LA. There was like a whole group of comics I couldn't befriend. Like I just didn't. I wasn't that guy. Like I think maybe I was too loud of a personality, I guess, at the time.
Well, we were all pretty cool back then.
It was like you, Doug Benson, Graham Elwood. There was like a whole group of people.
Right.
Do you remember? Not Nell. What's the Chris? Chris?
Guy or girl?
Guy. Chris. He runs all the roasts. You know him, Chris. I just was talking to Rogan about him. He started in Boston, bald head, married to.
A writer.
He's married to another girl who's a stand-up. There was a black one.
No,
there was a black Tess. There's a black Tess and a white Tess.
Yes. Okay.
And so like there was this whole scene of like, and it was all guys that I think were my age roughly, and
they were all in all the improv guys.
And I'd go over to the improv and hang out. The only person I really knew was Nick. Nick Swartzen knew everyone.
Yeah. So I was friends with Nick, that gang, and Anthony
Clark.
Oh God,
what's he doing?
I don't know. The last time I saw him, I got real worried.
I mean, yeah.
It was like, let's not talk about
He's
it.
my canary in the mine.
I know.
So, but that whole scene was like a really fun, young group of people who all partied, who all had a good time.
We
and
got so fucking wasted all the time.
I was on the outskirts of it, and I was always there and like hanging out. But now having been in the business as long as I have, I realized who I was. I was the guy that just, hung out at clubs, did spots, but I didn't start with everyone. I didn't do all the clubs. I didn't do any open mics because I had money. And so I was like, because I did a TV show.
Right.
And I was a New York guy. And so I'd know like Bobby Kelly when he came out.
Right.
But then Bobby looked down his nose at everyone because he was like, dude, they're all fucking clever. They're clever comics.
Well, because we were all real, like we'd work at the Improv, but our real true love was Largo.
Yeah.
That's where we were all like, we're all comics,
It was like.
I remember Jen Kirkman one time, she goes, where have you been? I go, oh, I went on the road. She goes, oh, doing stand-up for real people. I mean, now that's what she does.
Yeah,
now
Jen
that's
Kirkman was that group.
But,
there was man, Howard Kremer. There was
Yes,
it was a really cool group of people, and I was always on the outside. And then I was like, and then I slowly became friends with everyone. And then I remember one time asking, this is hardcore secret time. I remember I worked with Louie in the road, and I go, how odd is this that I go,
wait, who's this?
Louis C.K.
Okay, yeah.
And I go, hey, what do you think of Bonnie McFarlane? Out of nowhere. I didn't have anything to talk to him about, and I figured he'd like you because I thought you were funny. And he was like, I remember he had seasickness bands on, and he was typing on a computer. Chris Rock had written a movie called I Think I Love My Wife, and Louie was doing punch up on it.
Yeah, so it was Rich. So this was not that long ago.
This was 13 years ago. 14 years ago.
It couldn't have been that long ago.
I guarantee you.
Rich and I have only been married 13 years.
Yeah, it was. You and Rich have been married. No, you and Rich haven't been married for 13 years.
Yeah.
I know. And Rich, I know. Yeah, I guess you would. No, you and Rich got together right when I had you guys got together right when we had Georgia. She's 14. So yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. I just had Georgia. It was 14 years ago, and I asked. I think it was Chris Rock's script, and Louie was punching it up.
Maybe prior to. So this is before the actual movie, because Rich worked on the actual movie.
It was way before the movie.
Okay, so yeah.
Chris Rock had just come up with the idea and sent Louie the script.
Sure.
And I said, "What do you think of Bonnie McFarlane?" And Louie gave me the slowest drawn look, like, "Huh?" Because I was just looking for something to talk to him about, and then we didn't speak the rest of the trip. We were in a car service for like an hour.
Why, he didn't like me?
No, he just didn't. He was like, you're trying to do small talk. And yeah. And so I was like, he's like, she's funny. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But
I was one of the only women that said no.
Wait, he asked?
No, he never did. I wish I had a story now.
Well, there's got to be women that said yes.
Oh yeah. I absolutely know women that have not come forward that were like, well, he asked, I said yes. They don't feel like it's something.
Yeah. It is. It's a bizarre. But anyway, so I felt like I knew. Then you met Rich, and I knew Rich for much longer. I knew Rich right when I started. He was like one of the like seniors when I was a freshman. Right. And so you started dating Rich, and I was like, and I had I think me and you did me and Rich did a college together at like USC, and you and him were just started dating. And Rich, I just had Georgia because Rich was like, little girls are the best, man. They're the best. You're getting so much fun being a dad. And I was like, whoa. And all of a sudden, it was like, I thought I knew who you were. And you were dating Rich, who I loved. I loved Rich. I still love Rich to this day. And I was like, oh, I do not know who this person is.
Why?
Because
seemed far-fetched.
I said I was talking to Segura today, and I said, you know what's so funny? I go, I like Bonnie more because she loves Rich. And he went, really? I said, if she hadn't met Rich and just married some actor, like most, I said, I would have just been like, whatever, that's who she is. I would have never thought anything about you. But the fact that you married Rich, I just was like, fuck yeah. And then I heard, and this is where I want to start. Okay. You grew up in like a small town in Canada. I did not know any of that.
Not even a town. I grew up in Sticksville. Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
So I grew up on a farm really far north in Alberta, Canada.
Alberta is where Edmonton is.
Yes. So like 4 hours northeast of Edmonton is where I grew up. So even to this day, I have to fly into Edmonton and then drive 4 hours to my parents' house.
Is that where your wedding was?
No, my wedding was in a suburb of Edmonton. Okay. Yeah. And it was because my aunt was the manager of a hotel there, and it was like a hunting hotel. Like they were dragging deer and elk through, like, because they would put them in the back. They had like these big freezers for hunters.
Yeah.
And that's, and now I was mad at the time. I was like, oh, why was I such a bitch about it? I should have been fucking in my wedding dress taking pictures with.
Oh, but at the time I
was like, they're ruining it.
So you grew up. What did your parents do? So
my dad's a farmer and my mom's a school teacher. Really, my mom got pregnant and then my dad married her, whatever. And they had no money. Their families had no money. Their families were both poor farmers. But my dad had a piece of land that was owed to him in this place, Cold Lake, which was they were from Saskatchewan, so they just drove to this fucking piece of land that my dad had, built a house on it. He had to pick all the rocks off it.
Built a house on it. They didn't get a contractor and get plans drawn up. They just built a fucking house.
No, they built a fucking house. My dad built a fucking house and then it burned down.
Really?
Yeah. And so then they lived in a trailer. I mean, it just had some fucking bad luck.
I think I know that side of my wife. When I first started dating Leanne and we were going to her house, her hometown to meet her dad, she was super nervous. I wonder if you have any of this, or if as a comic you this doesn't exist for you, or this is your protective mechanism. She was super embarrassed. She was like, my dad lives in a quickie mart. And I was like, what? She goes, yeah, he owns like a convenience store and he lives in the freezer. And I was like,
wait, he lives in the freezer? That is a little weird.
And I go, okay. She's like, we're staying in the freezer with him. And I was like, all right. And by the way, I'm not saying I grew up rich, but I definitely grew up privileged.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm game for anything. And then we got there and there were people in a fucking gas station. It's a gas station and a laundromat. And we were walking luggage to a gas station into the back. And in the back was in the freezer was, partitioned off with like sheetrock and was his bed and a couch.
It was nice in the summer.
I fell in love with this fucking place because me, I'm a big drinker. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, want a beer, and just go out and raid a fucking convenience store. I literally was like,
that is pretty sweet.
I would wake up and walk out in my boxers in the morning and they'd be like, hey boy, that was some biscuits? And I was like, yeah. Oh, it was the best. It was the fucking best. I remember we were going to Europe and I just was like loading up on all the shit I wanted to take on the flight. I was just taking it all. I loved it. But my wife was very protective of that.
Right.
Was there a part of you when you...
Well, where I was growing up, everyone was pretty poor.
When you got to LA or when you got to New York and...
Well, no, I mean, I kind of like... Yeah, there was a time where I was sort of embarrassed about it. The problem was that my manager and my agency had always want me to fucking do jokes about it. And it was like impossible to do. I wasn't good enough yet to paint this picture of what it really was. And, you look at me, it's like, it's hard to reconcile those things. Like even at the time, it was like people really were, I remember people being like, did someone write that for you? Or is this really you? It's like, yeah, I really, like my mom's an educated person. It's not like we were like, we just had a lot of bad luck, but did it bring you up humble? I will say this about myself. I don't have any, I forget about money in my life. I do stand up. I forget to get paid. Like Rich always said, like one time somebody was saying something to Rich about getting paid and he goes, she does it for compliments. I do it for money. But it's a little bit true. Like I forget, like I just don't have that. I'm not searching for money or things all the time. Like I know, like even, sometimes I think like, I just don't want to do anything I don't want to do. I know I'd rather downsize than fucking have to do shit I don't feel like doing. So that's like, my sisters aren't the same. They like money. They want. But I just feel like I would know how to live off the land should it come down to that. I think I could do it,
How many sisters do you have?
So I have 3 sisters.
3?
Yeah. One is...
So 4 is total is you?
Yes, 4 girls.
Wow,
yeah.
4 girls.
And I'm the youngest, yeah.
You're the youngest?
Yeah.
Wow. So do they all then... how varying different...
They're... Well, one sister that's closest in age to me, the next youngest is she's a principal at a school, and she does, they have a really nice house. They go on, they're upper middle class, I guess. And then my other sister started a charity for fetal alcohol syndrome, and she's really rich.
Really?
Yeah, this is like the fucking secret of, I work in nonprofit. Not for you though, right? Well, look who has a boat.
Where does she live?
So she lives on the farm that I grew up on. She and her husband bought that farm, and then they subdivided it. They sold a little bit of it, and then they built my parents like $1 million fucking house on their land.
Really?
And so they have that house, and then my other sister Lynn, who has Down syndrome, lives on the top floor of that house. They have like a, what do you call that, like a grand mother-in-law suite or something, whatever. Yeah. So she has.
How old is she?
So she's in her 50s now, but
really?
She's and it's tough because she's going downhill pretty fast.
Why does that? Is disease, or that's not a disease, right? It's a disorder.
Well, it's like an extra chromosome. It's actually an extra chromosome. Sometimes it's one less chromosome.
Oh, really?
It's
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about it, but is it degenerative? I know like eyesight is degenerative in it, right?
The thing is that I think she probably has some kind of Alzheimer's. They can't, but it's like hard to tell. They don't know what, she gets tested, but she's losing her memory very quickly, and But they're, it's like, I think the lifespan is pretty young.
Oh, really?
For people with Down syndrome. Yeah, like probably in their 50s.
Is your dad one of those guys that always needs to keep himself busy?
Yeah, and he gets very depressed in the wintertime.
Really?
And he would still be farming if people let him do it, but yeah, he's like, my mom still gardens. My mom's still very active. I think they wish that they could still have a farm with animals and stuff and still be doing it. But
so what were your chores? Did you have chores every day?
Yeah, fucking chores every day.
What were your chores?
Well, this is a weird thing.
Because I'll forget to ask this second question. Basically, I'm interviewing my wife, okay? Because I feel like when I heard that, I lost my shit. And I was like, oh my God, you grew up like Leanne. Leanne grew up, Leanne, I almost want to say was different and a little more impoverished. Meaning like, I don't think they ever thought they were poor, but like Leanne didn't wear shoes to school until she was like,
wow.
Yeah. Like her thing about her is you can't call her a hillbilly. That was an insult in her neighborhood. So
like white trash, we get mad about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we had a farm, but we didn't have it wasn't junky, and we had no money, but we ate very well because we had 10 acres of garden, and my parents worked really, really hard all the time.
But my question is, it's two-part. I want to know about your chores, and then I want to know about how you're parenting, and are you doing chores in your family?
Oh my God. No, I mean, I'm one of those parents that's like, when I was growing up, the things I had to do.
Oh, Leanne does this all the time with the girls.
God.
I can't believe I used to come home, make myself a snack, do my homework. I would then start the laundry for the whole house. And it's amazing. And then when she said, she goes, so we're going to have a chore list. We're all going to do chores. By the way, one of the chores is scooping dog shit. No one does that in the house.
Yeah.
Isla was not doing chores. And then she gave me a list of chores. I go, Mom, I'm sorry, I have a job.
Yes.
And she was like, no, you don't have a job. You have chores in the house. If you're a team member of this family.
Right. Everybody should be doing something.
Oh, fuck that. I lost my shit.
But it's like if you grow up a certain way, you just I just work really hard. I still and I'm the laziest one in my family. I was told all the time growing up how lazy that I am, but it's like this weird thing that's just instilled in you.
Leanne, I call it a Lowland Scott mentality. She will, regardless, fill her day up with activities.
Yes.
And I'm like, hey, slow down. And I'm doing her schedule today. That's when I was like texting you. I was like, I'm out of my mind. I'm fucking losing my shit.
That's what Rich is going through right now.
Dude, the second I texted you, I was like, I know Rich is doing what I'm doing, and I'm losing my shit. I woke up today, and Georgia's like, just so you know, waking up at 5:45, you need to be up and running, Dad. Mom is up and running at 5:45. And I was like, well, I'm just waking up. She goes, you don't have time for that on Mom's schedule. She goes, Georgia said, if you want that, wake up at 5:30. And I said, called Leanne, and Leanne goes, oh, you need to be It's go time at 5:45.
I have these. I had to stop myself from writing lists. I was like, I can't write lists.
Oh my God.
I've got.
Oh my God, Holston. That's my fucking list.
Yeah. See, I was like, I'm not gonna do lists because he gets so mad if I do a list. But if I don't do a list,
this was my day today.
Oh my God.
What's today? Monday.
Oh my God. 5:45. Wake, make breakfast, start lunchboxes, feed dogs. See last page for breakfast and lunchbox ideas. Oh my God. I swear to God, I was gonna do that, and then I just said no. Let him sink or swim, because anytime I do lists, he gets so upset and he won't do it. So he's like, I know how to parent. I know what I'm doing. So I was like, oh. So I did like a little bit about the dog, like and I had so many lectures, with Raina about like, you've got to parent yourself, okay? You've got to keep, and then, I know, is she going to take a shower while I'm gone? I don't think that's going to happen.
I haven't even thought about showers. I sent Isla to school the other day with a bag of rice. Like she was working on the railroad.
Oh no, he'll just make her buy every day.
I said, she goes, Dad, did you forget something? And I was like, Isla, baby, I'm sorry. She goes, soy sauce. I go, oh yeah, soy sauce is what's missing from this fucking lunchbox.
Oh, I'm sure Rich is just doing the same kind of weird stuff.
I'm like,
for dinner, he'll go out every single night for dinner, I'm sure.
Oh, I already told the girls, I was like, listen, I have a busy day. I got a podcast. I'm not missing this podcast. I go, what do you guys want for dinner? And they just lit up. They're like, can we have pizza? I was like, you can have whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. Oh no, that's like Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, don't even bring up Taco. Isla said to me this morning, she goes, I started to make pancakes at 6 o'clock. If you look at that list, that's not in the schedule.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I think drop offs at 6.
Have them eat breakfast. They'll need encouragement.
Yeah, I made Isla a bowl of chicken noodle soup for breakfast this morning.
That's like the thing with Raina too. She won't eat breakfast. I don't know what to do about it. I make her a tea every morning. But then it's like, what am I doing? Like, this is like when I was growing up, these were all things you did on your own. You didn't have parents fucking bringing you a cup of tea. Time to get up, darling.
Yeah.
Raising the curtain up and... Yeah, good morning, darling.
What was it like when you were a kid? What was your morning ritual? Like, what was a regular
We had
day?
no running water until I was like in 2nd grade, so it was weird. We would take my mom would boil snow for baths, and then so we'd get a bath once. So Raina tells this story one day.
Mom,
she goes,
boil.
we're reading a book at school, and in the book, the kid took a bath, and then another kid took a bath in the same water after, and every kid in the class was like, "Oh, gross, disgusting!" And I was like, "Oh, good." Yeah, that was ×4 in our family.
How'd you pick a win last?
I don't know. We didn't think about it. And one time,
who wants to smell like pussy soup?
My sister Lynn one time shit in the tub. I remember because I was getting in next, and I saw her take the washcloth and put it over something that was floating, and I was like, "Wait a second, what? Excuse me, what is that?" And then I told my mom, and Lynn got in trouble, and they were mad because now they had to dump the whole thing out and boil more snow, and it's like a fucking thing.
Was it fun?
I remember having a great time. There was 4 girls.
Yeah.
And so and we all had horses. I rode horses almost every single fucking day, like a bike. Like you'd go get on your horse.
Really?
And even now I think about it, and it's so weird. Like, would I even get on a horse now? I don't even know. Would I be scared of it? Would I know what I was doing still? We didn't use saddles. We just put a bridle on and we'd go.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I've done that once and it was terrifying.
Oh, we would race around and try to knock each other off. I remember one time my sister was chasing after me on her horse, and I went under the clothesline, knowing she'd be too stupid to duck down, and it caught her right on the neck and threw her off. It was just constant like that. It was just...
It seems like especially now in the lives that we live, which I'd say are fairly similar with press and podcasts and you're directing, you're making documentaries, you're making movies.
I'm doing some commercial work now.
Are you really?
Yeah, I do.
That's
I direct.
Awesome. Oh my God, it's almost full circle from this copyright ad.
Yes, I know, I'm back to it.
Holy shit. But it seems so romantic to me to think that you lived a life not only without cell phones and apps and a fitness tracker.
Without television, definitely.
No television.
I had no interest in television either. Like, it's not like I saw it and was like, whoa. It just never appealed to me until I met Rich. He came, I never had a TV, and he came to my apartment when I was living in LA, and he was like, you don't have an iron? First he was mad about that. You don't have an
iron?
So we had to go get an iron because, you know, he was like, he's really into ironing. And he said, you don't have a TV. So he bought me a TV and a TV stand. That was the first time. Oh, sorry, my kid is calling me.
Answer it. That's fine.
Oh, I just ignored her. But it's just, I won't stop, unfortunately. But yeah, so it's weird that like I'm in television because even after doing stand-up for years and years, I never had a TV. I never, you know.
That's crazy.
Just never into it.
It's.
But I liked being creative. I like writing. You know, to me, that's as good as watching a TV show, you know, is my own brain like spilling out.
So what do you need to answer it?
I gotta answer it. Oh no, she's just texting.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Feel free to. My kids will walk in the middle of this podcast at some point.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I stopped the podcast the other day. All anyone's been asking, why did Isla have the hatchet? Because Isla was walking out with a hatchet, and I was like, Isla, no! Like I fucking panicked.
Are your kids funny?
Georgia always was.
How old is she?
14. She's finding her personality now. So
yeah.
I'm watching her. She's a she's going through that point where she's in 9th grade and she's meeting new people and she's trying to figure out who she is. So a lot of it is like, it's so funny. I know there's a bit in it, but I'm afraid to do it because it's too close. But she's trying to be cool.
Yeah.
And I'm legit cool. So like, I'm watching.
Not to her.
Yeah, no shit. And I'm watching her, and I'm just like, I'm like, hey, stop. Just, she wants to be older. She wants to be grown up. She wants to be older. Isla is, I think anyone listening to this would say Isla's hilarious, but Isla's not hilarious on purpose. 12. She's the one who went to school with a bag of rice and was like, no soy sauce. And then I don't even think I gave her a fork.
Well, 11, 12 was great because they're not embarrassed yet, you know?
Was, I think her friends are all like not parent kids. They're like not into parents.
Right.
And so like.
Right. Raina's friends too.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like, and she's got, the other thing is we grew them up very young, meaning like we made them stay, we let them stay young and we've kept them sheltered, I guess you could say. So like there's a lot that I feel like they're getting bombarded with at this age from other friends, and like Georgia just found out there's no Santa Claus like when she was when she was 13.
Wow.
Well, that's my fault.
So Raina last year was still talking about Santa, and I thought, she's playing me.
How old is she?
She's 11.
Yeah.
She just turned 11 in the summer. And I thought, she knows about Santa, you know. And then I said, you know what? Oh, so what happened is that she lost a tooth, and I forgot to put the money under. That's
ours. That's what happened with us. Keep going.
And I said, you know what? She goes, the tooth fairy didn't come. And I was like, come on, you're 10. You know this shit. Yeah. So I said to her, I go, I'm going to tell you 2 things you need to know right now. I go... I hope people are watching this on YouTube. I wish I could see your eyes. Like, listen, kid. I know, because I was like, she's playing me. I go, the tooth fairy isn't real. And I saw it in her face where she realized, she was like, oh shit, that makes so much sense. Where I really was telling her for the first, she really never thought about it. And then when I told her, I go, wait, did you know that? And she goes, yeah. But you could tell she didn't know that. And she goes, wait, what's the second thing? And then I didn't want to tell her about Santa. So I said, I'm not your real mom. And then that was, that was why. Georgia,
Isla, and Georgia used to share a room. And this was post renovation. So this is a year ago. They shared a room and they were both in bunk beds. And one night, Georgia's in her bunk bed reading. Isla's in her bunk bed. She had lost a tooth. And we had helped her write the note to the tooth fairy, and we were putting under her pillow, and Leanne and I were both drinking red wine, and and as Isla's putting it under her pillow, she just turns around and she goes, are you a mom the tooth fairy? just real quick. And Georgia is reading a book, and I watch her eyes look around the room like, wait, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, because suddenly they're like, wait, that makes sense. Suddenly that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
like,
and Leanne goes, okay, yes, Dad and I are the tooth fairy. And Isla's like, okay. And Georgia's like, I go, Georgia, did you know that? And she goes, yeah, like just like Randy just, yeah. And then Isla goes, hold on, are you guys Santa Claus? And we were like, all right. I go, listen, let me tell you something. I said this, I go, I want to tell you before I say this, it has been more fun being your parent and sharing Christmas with you guys than anything. And being Santa Claus is part of that. Mom and I are Santa Claus, and it has been more fun, and I want to thank you guys for everything. And Georgia, I could see it in her eyes that she was about to cry. And she was like, and then she goes, is there an Easter bunny? And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh, okay, we're doing the whole thing.
We're doing the whole thing.
And God is not real.
Well, she said to me in the car the other day, we're driving back from school, and she said she doesn't believe in God. She goes, there's no such thing as God. And look, by the way, I'm not.
She sounds like a smart kid.
I'm not. I wear all his jewelry. So part of me is like, I go, hold on, let's not go there, and let's try to. And I go, there's faith. You got to believe in something. And she goes, well, what do you believe in? And I was like, I don't know. What the fuck are you talking? What are we on a date? Like, who fucking knows what I believe in? I believe in Tito's. That's why I fucking drink on the road, because I'm fucking afraid that I'm gonna die and not go to heaven, and then it'll just go fucking black. Okay, your dad's not the fucking man you thought he was. But yeah, I'm.
Oh, I've had the God talk, because I'm an atheist, but I told Raina, she, you could believe in God. One time she was at the playground, and her and they were little, they were just playing on the thing, and they kept reaching up as high as they could reach and climbing up a little higher, and they were saying like, I'm going to reach the sun, I'm going to reach the clouds or whatever, and Raina goes, I'm going to reach God, and then she turns to the little girl and she goes, if you believe in that.
So wait, is Raina funny?
Raina's fucking hilarious.
I heard her on your podcast once. I think, with you and Rich.
Yeah, she acts the same way to Rich that everyone acts to Rich. Oh. It's so funny.
You have no idea the parallels. My daughters treat me the way everyone treats me. The way everyone treats me online, the way my friends treat me. My wife treats me that way. My wife looks at me like, you can't be serious with this. Yeah. And I think I don't know what it is about me, but it's either, but they stopped calling me dad a long time. It's been a long time. They call me right now, George is calling me Dugans. They've called me Bartholomew. They've called me Bertangulus boy. They've called me Bertangs. Bertangs was one that was stuck for a long, and I hated it. I hated it because we all had nicknames. Isla was Baby Cheeks, Georgia was Jung Jung, and I got Bertangs, and they're all bullshit fucking nicknames. Leanne didn't get one. Leanne didn't get a fucking nickname. And one night we're driving home and they're fighting, and Georgia goes, I don't like being called Jung Jung, and Isla goes, I don't like being called Baby Cheeks. I go, they're not bad nicknames. I got fucking Bertangs. And Leanne goes, you know what? No more nicknames. And then I went, hold on. I like having a nickname. Yeah. And then they're like, okay, you can stick with Bertangs. You can't call us Jung Jung and Baby Cheeks. And then Isla called, what did Isla call Georgia? Polar bear pussy or something? What was her fucking nickname? Isla was White Fang, and Georgia was, I forget it. Not polar bear pussy. Oh, Vagina Mouth.
Oh my God.
Georgia was Vagina Mouth, and Isla was, but it's interesting that it's like almost like our personalities, who we are on radio or who we are in personality or at a club, or it's almost like it permeates into people. Yes. And then they recognize it, even our children.
Yes. Yes.
That's so fucking
Oh, Raina fucks with Rich. Oh God. But I said, Rich, like, it's like, I've always said this about Rich. He doesn't let anything roll off his back. That's who he is. He fights back on everything, And even with Raina, when Raina's fucking with him, he fights back on her. I'm like, don't fight back on your own kid.
That's exactly. It's so interesting. I wish you guys had lived in LA and the Valley, so that I could have seen you guys as drop off and hang out with you guys, because I think that would have been funny shit. Yes. To like co-parent and like, because there's some dads that I've done that with Joey. Joey comes over. Joey's kid is fucking hilarious.
I asked him if his kid was funny, and he was like, I guess.
But she's funny in a very different way. This past Christmas, we had just gotten the pool. Maybe it was this. Yeah, it was this past Christmas, and everyone was having a good time. It was Christmas Eve. Everyone's having a good time. And I go into the back and I put on a Christmas Speedo with like bells and stuff. And I come running through the party and I jump into the pool and every kid starts jumping in the pool. Yeah. All the kids are jumping in the pool. Well, they're all screaming. And Joey's daughter just looks and goes, "I can do it, Daddy." And Joey goes, "Then do it." And the whole party gets around her and she goes running up to the pool, goes to jump and stops. She goes, no, too cold. And Joey goes, "Oh, come on, you can do better than that." And she looks and she goes, and just leaps in the pool. It was the funniest goddamn thing. The place went nuts at this kid holding us us by the, it was fucking great.
Kids are like, the thing is, you know, I would not want to be the person that's like, "Oh, you should have kids," you know, to my, but sometimes I feel like they don't know what they're missing. They don't know what they don't have. It's like, it's unfortunate. It's like they're so, I don't know what the word is. It's like, they're just entertaining all the time.
Do you ever, I get really depressed when I think, like Leanne said one night, we were talking about buying a new house and Leanne's like, well, you know, we were like 6 years and the girls were out of here. And I fucking had panic.
Oh, I get Raina's only 11. I start thinking, oh, so it's like she's gonna be in middle school and then high school, and oh my god.
Oh, that freaks me out. But you guys have like Rich's first two daughters.
Well, they're already, you know, in the late 20s.
That's crazy.
Ellen's getting married. You know, Jessica's lives with her boyfriend.
I remember when they were children.
I know. It's like they fucking grow up. It's crazy.
It's so fucking, I don't want them to grow up. If you could freeze a child, at what age would you freeze
Well, this is what when she was, first of all, I didn't know I was going to like babies. I didn't think
you were going to. When you got pregnant, I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to hear this act."
Well, I just thought I'll wait till she starts talking and then I'll be good with it. But I fucking loved, I don't know if it's biology. What I wanted to have more right away. I was just like, because Rich was like, "I'm an old man. I'm not having any more kids."
He's not old. How old's Rich? 50?
He's 61 now.
Oh, that's right. I went to his 60th birthday party.
Yeah, and so. But anyway, then they're one and they're walking. Like every age, I kept thinking, "Oh, this is the best age. I don't want her to get any older." Then they get a little older, and you're like, "Oh, this is the best age." And you know, now that she's 11, it's like. And I take her on the road with me, and I would die on the road without her. I mean, I just can't imagine going on the road.
Take her on the road with you?
Oh yeah.
I would love that.
I mean, it's like we get up in the morning, we hit the pool. Like she's so easy. She's been going on the road with me since she was a baby, so she knows the drill. She comes to radio with me in the morning and shit.
Really?
And but it's like I've always my whole life wanted to have like a best friend that was like into doing comedy bits. Like it's hard to find a girl that just wants to, you know, at some point they want to talk about their relationships and stuff. And it's like, let's just do bits. Can we just do that? And I finally have it. It's like, I didn't realize, oh, you can make it. You can make your own. And so like, we just hang out and do bits all the time. And she's so funny. And it's like, it's as though we have, it's like we have like 10 TV shows in the works all the time. We're like, oh, that one goes in this show and that, you know, I thought of an idea for that show or whatever. And there's just like, just constantly doing funny bits. It's, you know, it's the greatest. It really is.
I think I talk a lot about my kids on stage right now. And this weekend I got very like cognizantly like aware of it. Like where I was like, am I turning into like the dad comic? Yeah. I was like, wait, I'm not known as that. Like I'm the fucking machine party guy. Fucking.
Right.
But then I had like my last special, everyone's like, wow, Kreischer really matures into adulthood. You're
like, no.
And I was like, wait, no, I'm not. But all my parenting, I mean, I'm a horrible parent, meaning like one of the bits I did is I thought I took a Diet Coke to a parent-teacher meeting and I had a Coors Light.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So like it's still young or fun, but I you know, it's like by the way, the answer for freezing is definitely before 14. 14 has just been rough.
Oh yeah.
My wife said to me that what was happening was she needed her space and I was turning into the psycho ex-boyfriend.
Oh my God, that's so great.
And I literally said, so
right,
what?
Because the more she pulls away, the more you're like let me in. What's going on?
And fighting with her and just being like, wait, whoa, how come? Like and she, I literally said to Leanne, so what you're saying is I got to just not be that into her. And Leanne's like, oh my God. She was like, you're fucking your daughter up. Leave her alone. And I was like, okay, I guess. Will we ever get back together?
Well, I think like, I mean, I'm sad to hear it's that soon, but I think like in the teenage years, they have to pull away from their parents. Like it's something that biologically has happened just in case the parents are bad. They can now go out and formulate their own thoughts. Like, you know, if they grew up in a cult or something, they can go out and formulate their own thoughts and, you know, be their own people. So even if you're like a fun, good parent, they have to rebel against you.
They have to.
It's just like it's like a safety mechanism in a way, so they can have a good life. Then they come back. Then they go, oh, you're not that bad.
I was smoking pot at her age.
Oh God, don't I?
It breaks my heart. They asked me the other night.
Oh yeah, what are you gonna say? I mean,
they asked me the other night. It was a group. They said, "How were you when you first smoked pot?" And I just lied.
Yeah, I think I
said
would
18.
too. Yeah.
And they were like, and my wife's like, oh, and I was like, I'm not gonna say fucking 13.
We have sex talk with them.
You did?
Well, Raina was young when she asked me how babies were made, and I said, we're laying in bed. Rich was on the road, so she sleeps in my bed on the weekends when he's gone. But she was young. She was like 6, maybe 7.
Yeah.
I said, the man plants the seed inside the woman, and then the seed grows into a baby. And then she goes, how does he get the seed in there? I go, I don't want to tell you. I don't want to talk about it. She goes, wait, where's the seed coming out of? The man. I need to know. I was like, I don't want to talk about it, but she won't let it go, and I want to go to sleep. So finally I go, the seed comes out of the man's penis. And then she goes, well, how does it get in the woman? I go, I don't want to, can you please just go to bed? This is, she goes, oh my God, she swallows it. Oh my God. And then I go, no, it goes in her vagina.
You can't swallow it? No, you can swallow it, but
it's not going to grow.
Yeah, it's not going to grow.
I go, no,
it's not going to grow.
It's through her vagina. She goes, oh, phew. That was so much better to her than having... Good night.
Oh my God, she swallows it.
Oh, she was horrified by that thought.
I remember my sister and I were in the car one time, and I said, I don't remember it, but my parents, they've talked about it a bunch. I go, all they heard was, no, Annie, the guy pees in the girl's mouth.
Oh my God.
I didn't know anything came out until something came out. I didn't know stuff came out. I was masturbating, but nothing came out.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, you weren't actually orgasming?
No, I was. When you're young. I mean, I don't know when I started. I'm saying, I guess maybe 11.
Oh, okay. Before you hit puberty.
Yeah. I think the stuff came out maybe in 8th grade. So when I was 13,
did you think you were dying?
I thought I broke it. I was like, I knew it. Like, I thought, when I did not know anything about masturbation. I discovered it in a pool. I was up next to a jet.
Oh my God. And then you're like, wow, this is great. Did you know to be ashamed of it or no?
I loved it. Did
you just stand there in front of everyone?
No, I didn't know. I swear to God, I was in a, I'm not going to say the guy's name because he might listen to this, but I was in someone's pool. He can figure it out if he knows it. I was in someone's pool, and I went home, and I was almost like in Field of Dreams, like where he's just like, I can't believe there's something else out there. I've been looking for this my whole fucking life, and I think I found it. And I got in the car. We were picking up my Aunt Judy at the airport, and I was still just like eyes wide open, jaw dropped. And I got in the car next to my dad, and I was like, Dad, I just discovered the most. And he goes, is this another one of your stupid fucking ideas? And I went, you know what? I'm not going to tell you the secrets of life. I'm going to keep it to myself if you're going to treat me like that.
My God.
And I decided at that instant not to share it with him. And I would have said to my dad, ...
Right, but what would he have said?
My dad
made you feel bad about it?
No, I don't know. But my dad still to this isn't very open like that.
All
That's
right,
not him.
he would have been horrified.
Oh, yeah. I'm horrified thinking of the idea of him hearing this right now. But he, and And then I tried to figure out, I spent a period of time trying to figure out how to re-get it. So I was like, it's got to be in a pool. This is fucking stupid. I didn't even know what it was. And then one day I saw the movie Porky's, and the guy went like this. Oh, you're probably in the back just whacking it.
I knew a light bulb went off.
And I went,
you were like, that's it.
I wonder if you do that with your hand, if that works. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, I don't have to get in the pool in the middle of the night. Oh
my God.
And so I discovered it then, but I thought it meant you were gay.
Oh my God.
I know, because I didn't know anyone that did it. And I just figured, I just came to terms, like I knew that I liked to look at women doing it. Like, because my mom had a Vogue magazine of a girl, like on a beach doing like cobra pose, I guess, but you could see her nipple, and I knew that that's my thing.
Right.
Ever since I saw Wonder Woman, I knew that I was into girls.
Right.
Wonder Woman, the boogaloos, the girl would always get tied up, and I was hardcore.
It's so crazy how your psyche, like,
yeah. Oh, this gets really deep. This gets really deep because I then I just thought I was gay. I figured that's what it was. I mean, even in high school.
But didn't you read books and stuff?
I knew that when we got to ninth. I mean, I knew that guys would say like, "You don't jerk off, do you?" And I'd be like, "No," and no one admitted it. No one in my high school admitted it. They never admitted it. And so the whole joke was trying to get people to say they jerked off. We went to all boys Catholic high school. No one would fucking admit it. No one would admit it. And so I'm like dating girls, but I always had this secret in my head that I masturbated, and I was like, I guess that makes me a pervert or something. So I just assumed I had a problem.
Like, and you thought pervert meant gay.
I probably thought pervert meant gay. Like secretly, it's whatever gay guys got, I got it. I just happened to be into women. Right. And then in senior year of high school, Scott, I'll say his name. He's a good guy. I don't think he goes by the name anymore. Scott O'Brien and I were on the beach.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Drop his full name.
And he goes, we're sitting on the beach and we're drinking beers. He goes, hey man, I want to talk to you about something, but I don't know how to talk to you about this. And I went, okay. And he was like, do you know that thing that everyone says they don't do? And I was like, immediately, I was like, oh my God, please say you do it too. And he was like, I go, I think so. He's like, the thing that everyone says if you do it, it means you're gay. And I went, yeah. And he goes, okay, I do it, and I'm not gay. And I was like, I do it too. And he goes, okay, I've had this conversation with Tyler. Tyler does it too. Like, we all do it. So, and I was like, oh my God, it was like a
We're
burden.
all gay.
Yeah, I wish. That would have been so much easier. But I was like, oh, and I was like, so, and he's like, Ouija does it. We all do it. Everyone does it. And I was like, it took a burden. And then I literally a month later, I went to college and everyone talked about it. Like a month later.
You know, it's like, because we didn't have television, so we were literally allowed to read anything. I read every book in the house, any book that came through, any book in the library. My mom never stopped. I read adult books, and it's all in there. Yeah. It's like, probably from the time I was like 8 or 9, I was reading about sex, and so it seems crazy that you wouldn't have, it hadn't come across your...
It was always looked shamefully, like something that you were like, ugh, what kind of guy are you that does that? When I found out, I literally, a month later, I was in college next to a guy who I grew up with, and always said if you did it meant you're gay. And then they were talking about it in our fraternity house, and he was like, I do it all the time. And I was like, where were you fucking a month ago? But it was like, but still, Leanne never masturbated. I think she has like once or twice. But
in her life?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I thought it was the next place I was going, because I was like, I always wondered if it was her upbringing.
Well, the weird thing is that we, even just having this conversation, I realized, like, because my mom had some pretty dirty books in the house.
Really?
Yeah, and there were some Westerns that my dad would read that were kind of, had some fucking rapey shit in there. And I can't remember the name of the one author, but I remember reading like it was all about being gay. The guy was gay, and then the woman was saying to him, like, fuck me like you fuck the boys, which meant in the ass. And so I was like, whoa. I mean, I remember like at 10 being like, that's how gay sex works. Okay. And, but my parents they knew we were reading it. Sometimes you'd ask, I remember asking my mom what a hard-on was at one point in one of the books, and she was like, when you have sex, guys their penis gets hard.
Really?
And you're like, oh, okay. But there's no shame around any of it, really.
Were your parents religious?
No.
Okay, that might be part of it.
No.
I think if you grew up in a religious household, and my parents weren't religious, but religion was, like, we went to church every now and then.
My mom would go to church because she played the organ in different churches. Believe it or not, yeah, in the town, and so we were allowed to go to church if we wanted to, but or we could stay home with my dad, which I did.
What that's interesting. My uncle, I won't say my uncle's name because I know that now this sounds like a hate crime. When I was in, a couple of my uncles,
getting a lot of stuff out of this.
A couple of my uncles got AIDS, and another uncle pulled me aside in Captiva Island, and I mean, like, in a really weird way, pulled me around to the back, and he's like, "You know they have AIDS, right?" And I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "You know what AIDS is?" I go, "No." This is probably. I think I'd heard of AIDS.
Were you like 15 or something?
I want to say I was much younger. I must have been 8th grade. I think 8th grade. Although if my family listens to this, they definitely correct me and go, they got AIDS when you're in high school. But all I know is my uncle told me. One of my uncles said, "You know what that is, right? It's when you fuck a dude in the ass, you get AIDS. You're not gay, are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't think so." And I was like, "I jack off. Does that count?"
Yeah, I thought you're getting a lot of weird messages.
I remember when they talked about getting HIV. I remember I saw it on 2020 in my parents' room, and I was like, all right, I masturbate. I wonder if that means that I can get HIV or get AIDS. And I remember going, "Dad, I think I might have AIDS." My dad was like, "You don't have fucking AIDS. Is everything okay?"
Oh my God, this is my daughter. Wow. As we talk about masturbation and AIDS, she goes, in all caps, "Mom, I will do anything, literally. I will clean the house 5,000 times. Just let me donate $500 to the hurricane relief." Oh my God, why can't... What happens to her?
Why does she want to donate?
For Puerto Rico for 1,000. It sounds like she's such a good person in the beginning of the text, but now that I've opened it up, for 1,000 entries to an all-expense paid trip to Puerto Rico to see Lin-Manuel Miranda perform Hamilton and meet Lynn. Mom, please. I will cry if I don't. In the beginning, I was like, whoa, I didn't know she was so into charity.
What a great kid. I get to go to Puerto Rico.
No, she wants to meet Lin-Manuel Miranda because she sings all, like, she's just so into Hamilton. She sings all those songs all the time. Oh my God. I was thinking about Raina yesterday, 2 days ago, and I was like, I wonder if she's more street smart than my kids. I wonder if she would be a little slicker than my kids, because she is an East Coast kid. I have West Coast kids. Right.
She is around a single child, and in a weird way, I feel like with two children, it's almost like they don't grow up.
They can hang out together, like she hangs out with me or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, what's weird, since she was a baby, she's watched Family Guy. She's watched every single episode probably 3 times. She's, really into it. And every time you talk about something, she knows what it is already from Family Guy. And I'm not even saying that in a bad way. Like if you bring up the Kennedys, she knows about the Kennedys from Family Guy. Do you know what I mean? Like one time she referenced Chappaquiddick, and I was like, "How do you know about that?" And she's like, "Family Guy." Like, it's weird.
My daughters watched Deadpool 2 with me last night.
Yeah, and
he spoiler alert, everyone, but in the beginning of the movie, he's watching Yentl with his girlfriend, and at the end, have you seen it?
I've seen Yentl.
Okay,
I have not seen.
Josh Brolin's in the movie, and he starts singing Yentl as he's going to gets injured or whatever. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. And I start laughing, and they go, "That's great." And I go, "Do you guys get that joke?" And they're like, "Yeah, he sang at the beginning of the movie." And I said, "No, do you know Josh Brolin's stepmom is the Barbra Streisand?" And they're like, "Who's Barbra Streisand?" I go, "That's a woman singing Yentl." And she was like, "Wait, what's Yentl?" I go, "The fucking." I go, "Wait, gosh. Yeah." And then,
what are you guys laughing at?
Yeah, I go, "What are you laughing at?" And then they laugh when he goes, "Easy, Thanos." They both laughed, and I go, "Do you know why you're laughing at that?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I go, "I know why." And she goes, "Dad, Thanos." And I go, what's that mean? She goes, I don't know. You tell me. I go, Georgia, do you know why I laugh? She's laughing. And she goes, why don't you tell me why I'm laughing? And I go, because Thanos is played by that actor. And they went, what? And I went, what are you guys laughing at? Like, what do you find so enjoyable about this movie? But they didn't get any of the fucking jokes throughout the entire movie.
Right.
And I was just like, but I don't think I always say they're not that bright, but they're just really sheltered, I think.
Yeah, I think Raina's been on the road. I used to think she didn't listen to the other comics. One time, when she was really little though, she goes, the guy who's opening for you is really funny. I go, what? And then she did the whole thing of his act, and he was pretty funny. I hadn't been paying attention either. Who
was he?
I can't remember the guy's name, but he did this whole thing about that show. I only know this from Raina doing it. Bigfoot hunting. So there was some show. He said they should just call it camping. And it was like this whole bit.
George, Isla, we were going to a Dodgers game, and Isla is doing this bit in the back of the car about a guy that came to her school that scared them into getting kidnapped and said, when they get you, they throw you in the back of the trunk. And you know how you get out? You punch out the window and you wave to the car behind. She's like, I know, I'm fucking this up. And she's like, I know the car behind's going to be like, that's an aggressive way to take a left turn. And
that's pretty funny.
It's John Mulaney's. She had seen John Mulaney do it on Netflix with some friends and was doing the bit in the back of the car. I'm sitting up front as a comic going, yo, is that...
Can I use that?
I literally was like, is that yours? And she goes, no. That's our number one rule is if you hear it on TV or something, you got to be honest with that and say.
Yes.
And so she's like, no, that's this guy on Netflix. And I go, who? And my buddy Eric's laughing. He goes, it's John Mulaney.
Damn. Goddamn John Mulaney.
But
Raina, one of the first jokes she ever wrote was she said, okay, you go on stage and you're in a wheelchair and you got a cast. You got a thing on your neck, one of those neck braces. Your arms are in casts, and you go roll up to the mic, and you say to the audience, "You should feel sorry for me. I'm married." I was like, that's a pretty good joke. That's too much to take all those casts.
Isla's first joke she wrote, it was her and Georgia wrote it together. They woke me up. I ended up never doing this on a special, I don't think. Maybe I did on the last one. They woke me up. Isla was sitting on my chest, and they're both giggling. And Isla goes, guess what's in my hand? She's got her hands closed. And I'm panicking. I'm like, I have no idea what's in your fucking hand. She goes, guess. I go, I don't know what. And she goes, a punch in the mouth and hit me in the face. And I was like, first thing I said is, I go, did you guys write that? And they were like, yeah. I go, all right, it's mine. I'm taking it. And they're like, is it funny? And then the tag was, it will be when we do it to your mom. Yeah. But yeah, that was the first thing that, but she's, the two of them collectively make me laugh for totally different reasons. But Isla is the standout with fucking ridiculousness. Yeah. Like to the point where Georgia and I will laugh at things she said. Yes. We were snorkeling one time all out in Hawaii, and Isla comes up. We're all sitting in a group, I think with the guide or whatever, out by a reef. And Isla pops up, and she got a floaty, right? They had noodles for snorkeling. She pops up next to us, pulls her mask and snorkel out of her mouth, and goes, "You got to the count of 5, big boy." and I go, what does that mean? And Georgia goes, I don't know. If I were you, I'd start swimming. Her brain just works very differently than anyone else's. That same trip, that kid.
It's so great that she gets to be in this family, because it's like, there's other. I have a friend who came over to my house, and Raina and first of all, I said, hey, I'm making mac and cheese. Does your kid want some mac and cheese? She goes, we ate at lunchtime, which I was like, oh, this is gonna be awkward. And
we ate at lunchtime. I'm
like, what? Oh. And then so they're sitting at the table eating their mac and cheese, and we're in the living room, and we just hear them. We can't see them, and they're there's a flower, like a little orchid or something, that was on the table, and they're pretending to make it talk. Well, and all of a sudden Kathy goes, Kaylee, stop it. Enough. And I was like, oh my God, they're just fucking around. They're just kidding, whatever. And she goes, when she's eating, I like her to sit down and eat. And I was just like, oh my God, like, I don't know. It just seemed exactly the opposite of what I feel like you should do as a parent.
Yeah.
Like, foster the creativity. Like, why would you want to just...
It's amazing when you have kids come over to your house and do things. I remember at a young age, Georgia had a friend come over, and she goes, let's play drunk. And Georgia goes, what's that? She goes, it's where we put our panties around our ankles and we just go, I'm so wasted. And we were like, whoa. We put our panties around our ankles. And Leanne and I were like, you guys aren't allowed to play drunk. We play it differently here. That's where Dad goes, no one's giving me a break in this business.
Yeah. Well, I used to do this thing with Raina where I don't know how it started. I think she'd come to shows with me. I'd say, you have to stay away from drunk women. Because drunk women would come and try and pick her up or whatever. Yeah. I said, they'll fall on you. And then, anyway, I'd start doing impressions of being drunk, and she loved it. So she was always like, be drunk, Mom, be drunk, Mom. And so dumb to think about it, but she's 3 or 4 years old, and I'd be like, get over here, kid. And I'd be drunk, Mom. And then one day I realized she's gonna go to school and tell someone that oh, my mom does drunk mom. So then I had to sit her down and be like, you can never tell anyone about this.
we have legit Isla, oh my God, I feel like all we're doing is telling children's stories. Everyone's like, God, they're your fucking kids. One time Isla nominated me to read a book. I used to read books to the girls, and I'd read it like Sam Kinison. Right. So I go, there once was a lady who swallowed a fly. What? Swallowed a fly? She's gonna die! She's gonna die! A death! The spy's gonna... And
they loved it,
and they'd love it, and I could always curse. I'm like, oh fuck this fly,
Yeah.
And so I was in kindergarten, and she nominates me to read the book, and so I go to there to read a book. Once a woman swallowed a fly, and Isla's up front, like, yo, you're bombing, like looking at me, going, and like saying to her friends, like, don't worry, he'll turn it on.
Yeah.
and then she goes, Daddy, read it in the daddy words, and I go, oh my God, you want me to read it like Sam Kinison?
Oh my God,
you've told your friends you got to see my dad read. He's hilarious. And I go, baby, I don't know if I can do that like that. And she goes, Dad, you have to. And so I did it, but I didn't curse. I said stuff like poop, and it murdered. and now Isla's like feeling it. She goes, tell a story about fighting a bear, Dad. And I was like, oh. So I go, I fought a bear one time, and everyone's like, what? I mean, I got this kindergarten class. I get to the part where the bear's fucking me in the ass, and I go, oh, I don't have an out. Like it just goes dirty from here. It rapes me and teabags me, and I was like, oh, I don't have an out. And I was like, finish, Dad. Remember? And I'm like, the story's over, Isla. Story's over. But we have secrets where we just don't.
I know, it's so that's what you should do. Teach your kids about secrets and
not it's horrible. So let's pivot out of kids and talk. I want to talk to you about what I think is pretty fascinating, considering you've been in this business, I would say, as long as I have. Almost
20 over 20 years.
Okay, I've been in
23.
20. I've been 20 this November.
Yeah.
So how bad was it being a woman in comedy when you started to where you see things kind of changing a little bit now, where women are getting, I would say, and I don't know if that's accurate, but it sounds like women are getting more opportunities, or there are more women-based shows? Because when I watched your documentary, you dressed as, it was one of my favorite things I've ever seen in a scene. I was laughing so fucking hard. I want to say I texted Rich, because I don't think I had your number, but when you dressed as a man, I think were you at this comic strip? Or Catch? No, comic strip.
We're at the comic strip.
And you dressed as
I dressed as a man and went on stage as a man and bombed, and then had a little cry outside. It's funny because it's like...
Hold on, you're underselling that so hard. You're dressed as a man and you have a cry outside with Rich, who's like, you're his wife, and he's being there for you.
Yes.
But... people are walking by, and you're dressed as a man, and
I'm crying, and then Rich is kissing me, and trying to make me feel better. Yeah,
it was so funny to watch Rich kiss a dude.
But I've cried after shows before, and twice now. As a headliner, I've had to coddle my opener in my arms right before I go on, being like, it's fine, these things happen, and then I got to go on stage. And Rich said, can I just say I've never had to do that to a dude.
Oh, dude.
that might be one of the biggest differences.
I've never thought about crying. For mine is more like a self-loathing of like, why did you let that happen? How did you do that?
Yeah.
It's always my fault in like a very like direct, like, oh man, you were fucking nervous. Why were you nervous?
I know, it's so fucking when you don't live up to
your documentary was absolutely fucking awesome.
Well, I really want to do it again, like now. Yeah. But you know, the thing was
it did come out right before almost women's rights blossom.
Yes, people kind of were like, nah, this is kind of dated. Like I remember some fucking big podcaster, he was like, you know, do we really need to find out if women are funny or not or whatever? And it's like, oh really, dude? Like, what about, I mean, the thing is that when I was coming up, I don't know if it was that I was in Canada or that we were just steeped in this sexism, and so I never complained about it. I never thought about it. I just was like, well, just get good, get undeniable, you know, which I think I just put blinders on. And although sometimes I would go on stage and men in the audience would put their heads down. They'd just be like, oh, like a girl is coming. Like,
go online any day of the week and listen to what people say about female comics. And I know there's people listening to this podcast. And that's why I'm glad to talk to you about it, because in a weird way, this sounds silly, but like, you're married to someone that listens to this podcast that everyone loves.
Yeah.
And you're entrenched in a real bro comedy scene.
Yes.
And so your insight to it is different than, like, say, you know, I had a very funny female comedian on here that was very pro women's rights about the store, and she got a lot of shit for it, and I felt bad. It was at times it was a tense conversation, and I was trying to listen, and but people got mad at me because I didn't defend guys. I'm like, I'm not here to defend guys. I don't like confrontation, and I don't have an interest in inviting someone into my house to fight with them.
Right.
And if someone has a bone to pick about female rights to me, then I'll let them pick the bone and I'll listen to them.
Yeah.
But I think you have an interesting perspective, and I think my audience sees you in a very different light because you are friends with all their heroes and you're married to one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, like, I think for a long time I just never, I wouldn't deal with it. But I do remember some very, like, you know, sexist bullshit. The thing is that when you're married to a man comic, you start to realize that it's like, yes, I may have sexist shit happen to me, but he has shit happen to him. Like, it's like not it's like, in high school, if you're fat, you think everyone's just being mean to you because you're fat. It's like, no, they're saying you're fat, but they'd find something else to say to you if you were something else. It's like, you know, we're not, like, I'm the bully in this situation. We're not just being mean to fat people. We're being mean to everyone. No, but I mean, like, I got bullied, you know, in school because I was fucking, you know, poor, dumb trash. And, you know, my sister got bullied because she was mentally handicapped. So it's like, you know, people like are mean to you for the first thing they see, but they'd find something else. If it wasn't like being a woman, they'd find something else to fucking trash you about. Like, I'm sure you get trashed online, right?
Oh, you have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, people just like, they're just fucking mean out there, but
I want to say to them, because I know some of them are trying to be funny sometimes.
Right. I give anyone credit if they're trying. I will favorite some shitty thing that someone says about me if I think that there's some nugget in there of them trying to be funny. But if they're just going to be like, hey, you dumb cunt, I'm like, well, you're blocked.
Yeah, and it's funny because you see people. Someone was, I don't know, someone was talking shit about some woman online, some guy. And just to read the comments that the people were writing, I was like, wow, that's crazy. You don't, like, I could see it because it didn't hurt my feelings. Like, I was watching from the outside and going like, first of all, none of that's founded. Like, those are opinions of a person, just lobbing them from fucking left field, going, fuck her, no women are funny. I was like, if you go through life like that, you're gonna miss out on a lot of fun. Yeah. Like, I can say wholeheartedly, while making eye contact with you, that I find women hilarious. I find people hilarious. Like, oh, I just started calling someone. The
thing is that, like, you know, the sad truth is that a lot of times the people that are, you know, I remember one time this fucking comic, this is the most sexist in my fucking opinion if that happened to me. He's talking to this comic that I know. These are two comics talking. And the one guy, when I walk up, stops and he goes, oh, I don't want to say it in front of a woman. And the other comic goes, it's Bonnie. And he goes, it's a little rough. And I was so offended, like, go fuck yourself. And that guy thinks he's a feminist. That guy thinks he's like this great guy because he didn't want to say something fucking rough in front of me. But to me, that was like the most demeaning thing. Have you ever seen my act? Like, do you know what I do? Do you know what I fucking put up with? I think I can handle whatever swear word that you were about to fucking come out with.
That is a weird thing that's going on now, is like there is a thing of guys almost isolating themselves from female comics because they don't want to come off saying the wrong thing. Right. Like, and it's so bizarre to me. I know I don't really talk sex stuff. I mean, oddly enough, I did tonight, but I don't talk sex stuff like I'm at the club.
You have a hour's worth of masturbation material.
Oh, yeah.
This is gold.
I wish I truly believed that. I wish I did. But I'm going to try that now in Omaha.
No, it'll work.
But I'm not a sex guy. Like, it's not my thing. Mine's always been drugs and alcohol. Right. So like if there was a Me Too against drugs and alcohol, I would be fucking on the front page of like, whoa, he drinks how much on a plane? So those are my secrets. But like, I'm not the guy that's like I've never tried to hit on a girl comic ever. Right. But I do notice, like, now you see guys almost like, someone said it the other day, they're like, oh, seriously, if you don't think you can talk to a woman, you're out of your fucking mind. I understand it, I guess. I don't know.
Well, the one part of it I will say is that there's kind of this weird, if you're going to change the rules at some point, like as we've, every movie up until just recently, everything has been sort of this one way, and all of a sudden it's like it changed, and it should change. And I love that it's changing, and that women are getting more respect and all that shit. But it's like there is this weird like educational component that nobody fucking addresses, where it's like, I don't understand why if you can't voice what's happening to you in the moment of like you hitting on me and me saying like, you know what, dude, that's weird and uncomfortable for me. And then that's a weird and uncomfortable thing to do and not to do it anymore. And so you're not going to do it to someone else. But instead, it feels like instead of me saying that, I no longer am expected to have a voice, that I now go and say it to other people or online or my Facebook page, or I publicly address it so that you can get in trouble. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whereas like, wouldn't it be like, I mean, obviously for some things it should be big and it should get in trouble, but wouldn't it be easier for me to just be like, dude, this is not cool, whatever you think this is. And then if you keep doing it, then obviously that's something else too.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting that people can't like Norm got in trouble for talking about it. Right. I find that fascinating, is that like just to talk, like when the
thing about Norm is that Norm has been on this weird sexist kick for a little while, and it's not like a new thing, but it's like, but why does it have to go from Norm being the greatest comedian to like now people are like, he was never funny, and he's like this thing. It's like, okay, so now we just know a little bit more about him. Now we're like, okay, so he is a fucking idiot. I don't know.
I've been a fan of his internet. Apparently they've never watched his internet, the Norm show online on YouTube. Norm
really is a funny person, but I also think that he's got some fucking weird old school ideas about shit.
Yeah, I don't think he's...
But also, it's like...
I don't think anyone will ever say Norm's woke.
No.
I think that, but it's like Matt Damon came out and played Brett Kavanaugh. Now Matt Damon had been accused of insensitivity.
Wasn't he part of that like triangle of filth?
It was a weird casting. Because I was like, I get it. You're looking for famous people to be on Saturday Night Live.
Why would he agree to it? It feels like you're asking for people to be like, okay, Matt Damon was a big supporter of Casey Affleck, who raped girls allegedly, paid them off, whatever. I mean.
Oh, you know what's crazy to me is the payoff doesn't count anymore.
What do you mean? Oh, because we paid you off to be quiet, and now you just say
everyone's
it anyway.
Like, oh yeah, I'll tell you all about it. Who just got? This is allegedly hardcore, because someone just told me about it today. But Ronaldo, is that right? The greatest soccer player in the world.
I don't know.
I don't know him either. I don't follow soccer, but this great soccer player apparently paid off a woman who claimed he allegedly, definitely allegedly, because I don't know anything. I don't know one bit of information about this, but someone told me. I'll tell you the person. Tom Segura said that Ronaldo, that guy Ronaldo, he's a big soccer player. He's like the Michael Jordan of soccer. Got accused of rape and paid the woman off, and now the woman came out and was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, that's what." So like she's suing him for more money. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Well, I think things are never simple. Things are complicated, and the problem I think too is that it's like we live in this world where you're on one extreme or the other, and if you come somewhere in the middle, people are going to take whatever you say in the middle and put you on one extreme or the other. So, it's like what's his name, Michael Ian Black, and he's been a huge ally to the women's movement. He's writing books about how. We raise boys wrong, whatever. And then he said when Louis C.K. came back, he said, I know I'm going to get shit for this, but I think everyone deserves a second chance. And, kind of like gave him his blessing. Yeah. And people fucking came down on him. It's like he tweeted something the other day and somebody came back about Cavanaugh, and he was like, oh, but Cavanaugh should get a second chance. He's like, okay. He's like, he can't get out of it now. It's like, because he said something pretty moderate, people should get a second chance in life.
Pretty moderate.
and it's like, but then if you say something against, like if you push back a little bit against the left, the right takes it, and then they make it like you're some kind of right wing. Look at Bonnie's saying this. Bonnie believes what we believe. And it's like, no, I don't want to be in your fucking camp either. And then if you say something, against the right, then they, call you a fucking whore and you get all this.
There's no middle
and
ground.
Then people say, if you're not tweeting about this, I'm going to unfriend you because you should be like vocal. And it's like, oh my God, it's like, you can't. It's just this. I
tweeted one thing. I go, can you imagine having to defend your high school yearbook quotes?
I know.
And I got into a huge fight. Not a huge fight. I'll rephrase that. I got into a argument that was very terse.
Right. I'm sure the left was like, you're on the wrong side of this, you piece of shit.
Yeah. And I was like, well, hold on. I'm a comedian. I'm not like, I don't tweet politics. I don't like. And then the same day I tweeted something else, and someone from the right attacked me, and I was like,
if you're in the middle, it's the worst place to be because you get it from both sides.
Yeah, and then I don't talk about politics. I do a solo podcast. I don't really talk about politics, because it's polarizing, and I don't really care. And some friend goes, you apparently don't read your comments, do you? And I was like, no. And he's like, oh, they care that you don't mention politics. They care. And I was like, they're coming to the wrong fucking place. I watched the news just long enough to form an ignorant opinion. Right. Like, I don't know anything. And so the idea that you'd be learning from me?
Well, that's the other thing, is like not everybody's voice should be equal.
I don't deserve an equal voice in politics. I don't pay attention to it. Right. So why should I just look at something like him defending, going, what's the Poot Club? And he's like, flatulence. Boof Club.
Why is he lying though? That's the thing. It's like it's
what is the Boof Club?
It's a ass fucking.
Yeah, but he wasn't fucking people in the ass, was he?
No, but I think he was
16.
Look at, he was a dog. He was a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, say the one thing I will say is that I didn't like the way he behaved in that hearing as a potential Supreme Court justice. I was like, I'll just be very candid. I personally don't know what happened. I will say very vocally, I don't think women have a reason to lie about rape. I know that it has happened. I know that the Duke lacrosse kids were all wrongfully accused.
But let me do worst case scenario. Yeah. Let's say she is lying. Let's say the Clintons fucking gave her an island somewhere and said, okay, after this is over, we're gonna move your family, get millions of dollars. Yeah. But you got to take this guy down because this is at stake, Roe versus Wade. And, why, he's not going to jail. He's like, this is like ruining my life. It's like, look, dude, you're a judge. I bet you put fucking people in prison all the time that didn't do it, you know, for crimes they didn't commit.
I never thought about that.
I'm sure it's happening. I mean, you know, I'm sure there's some black guy in there for 27 years that you.
Oh, there's gotta be.
You know, that is ruining your life. Basically, what's going to happen to you is you should say, you're not getting the job at the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land. Instead, you're still going to be a fucking judge. You're still going to have your riches. You're still going to have your family. You're still going to have everything. Yeah. You know, but he wants the highest thing ever.
But you could say if wrongfully accused, why shouldn't he be upset? It's just if wrongfully accused.
Yes, he should be upset that he's wrongfully accused. Yeah, I agree, but it's like, okay, so people don't get shit all the time. I don't get shit for stuff that, you know, there's clubs that won't fucking book me because they think, you know, one club said I'm too dirty. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, shut the fuck up. People have shit happen to them that's unfair. It's like, I don't think you should be, you know, it's like, your life is not being ruined. In fact, from the fucking day you were born, you've been blessed all the way through.
It sounds like a lot of his dreams have come true.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. You're going to be fine. This is not, you know, and if he doesn't want the FBI investigating his other fucking misdeeds, which are probably real, which are political in nature. I will tell you though. That's the shit that he doesn't want the FBI to find out about. And it's like, okay, then you should have recused yourself, or I don't know what the right word is, but if he has here's what I will say. If he did do that to that one girl and the booth clubs, anal sex and all that, then there are a list. It's like what we were saying with Louie. There's a list of girls that went, yeah, I'm fine with it, and didn't say anything. Mm-hmm. If you're not a single offender, right, with that kind of stuff. He doesn't seem like he's a great guy, to be honest. The Renate, the whatever it is, the Renate or the Renate Club, Renata. That everybody fucked the same girl, alumni. It's like you don't seem like a cool dude. You know, do I think you should fucking go to prison? No, but that's not what's happening. That's not what we're saying. We're saying, hey, don't be a fucking Supreme Court justice. I would definitely like my Supreme Court justice to have everyone just go, yeah, we all liked him. Well, I mean, people are saying it's all political. It is all fucking political. The whole fucking thing is political because it comes down to like these people want, are pro-life and these people are pro-choice, and it's a fucking huge deal. That's what crazy about it, because I didn't realize this whole argument is not about sexual assault. It's about women's reproductive rights. Yeah, everyone is coming forward having been sexually assaulted because they are now fighting for women's reproductive rights. Right, and it feels like. You know, I mean, if it seems crazy to me that we're still living in a world where all these men are making decisions about if what happens to you as a woman is important or not. I think it is. I said to my wife the other day, I think it is kind of crazy that guys get to decide if women have abortions. And she was like, that's, but just so you know, that's a lot of what people are upset about. Yeah. And I was like, oh, really? She was like, yeah, you haven't been reading anything? And I go, no, I just kind of came on that on my own. Like, that is kind of fucked up. And she's like, yeah, 100%. Raina said, what if we said men weren't allowed to get treatment for testicular cancer? Oh, my God. Imagine if women had control over fucking Rogaine. Like, no, that's how... Oh. I would lose my shit. I'd be like, why do you get to pick if I get hair or not? Because that's how God wants it. They want us to not have hair. It's been, here we are saying I don't talk politics, but I'm going like, oh, it is kind of fucked up that he did this. It is kind of fucked up that they're not. But I see both sides. I think part of the flaw in this is that as a comic, I don't feel sorry for the guy. I approach everything from both sides. Like, I look at both sides of the fence, trying to figure out a joke. And so for anything in the news, I always look at both sides. But what does he lose versus what she's already all I can say is what people are saying listening to this, and they're thinking, if wrongfully accused, it's unfair. I agree. If he's wrongly accused, if he's telling it's the truth, unfair. It's ridiculous. But he's lied about so many things. Just don't put him on the Supreme Court. There, done. Yeah. Move on. But they can't not have him on the Supreme Court because they don't want to waste any more time, because this is their fucking chance to repeal Roe versus Wade. Is it really? This is it, baby. They could they really repeal Roe versus Wade? 100%.
Do you realize what would fucking happen in this country?
Yeah. Women would have fucking, men's feet still on their necks.
That's so fucking...
Say goodbye to equality.
That's so crazy that there's a possibility of... Like, I'm not pro-abortion. I'm pro-choice, but I'm not pro-abortion.
I'm pro-abortion. In fact, I think every woman should have at least one.
That was what Michelle Wolf said.
Oh, she did?
Oh, no, she said, she goes...
I'm ripping off Michelle Wolf.
No. But her abortion thing was very rough. And like...
Was that during the... No, she didn't say it.
No, but I think that was one of the... Like, it's a video that if you go online, I watched it, and it is like so many negative comments. Like,
yeah.
So many thumbs downs.
I mean, I do have the belief, I'm going to get negative comments for this, that obviously I don't think every woman should have at least one. I think they should have two. No, I think... like, even if you think, like, people think it's killing a person,
yeah,
I still think it's okay.
Oh yeah, okay. By the way, hang on one second. I said that to someone one time. I'll tell you. I said that to Whitney Cummings, and I go. I'm like, I know that this is not popular, but I have a few things I go. No, I think that I can't apologize for it because I just think it and I can't help it. But I'm cool with abortion. I'm very cool with abortion. Yeah. I don't think I should have a choice about women's reproductive rights at all. I don't think I should have a say. Women should do whatever the fuck they want to do. I personally do believe it's killing a baby. I personally do. Yeah. I'm cool with killing a baby. I'm cool.
Well, because you're like choosing one life over another.
Yeah,
in a way.
I'm pro-choice.
That's what you believe, which I don't believe, but.
I believe that we should kill people on death row. I think we should kill more people in the prisons.
My God!
Yeah, I'm the worst at this. But I said probably the most uncomfortable part of a podcast I've ever had. And please disagree or agree with me, Halston. Is I said to Whitney what I just said to you, and Whitney went stone faced and went, "I had an abortion when I was 15," and I went, I don't totally agree with that.
Well, why would I then? I don't understand. Why was she upset by that? Like,
well, she just was like, she doesn't believe it's murder.
Oh, so you're saying I believe it's murder and I think it's okay. So she was upset.
She goes, you don't really believe it's murder, and I go, of course I do.
Oh,
but the thing is like I don't know. I grew up in an all boys Catholic high school.
I think you should be allowed to kill your kid until they're 10. So is that extreme?
That's not extreme. That's not extreme at all. That's not.
I feel like you should get that window to make up your mind.
How does it go? And I believe you should be able to fuck your sister if she's really hot.
Yeah.
I think. What time do you need to get out of here? By the way,
my friend Lynn said she was going to pick me up, so I don't know where she is, but I'm good still.
What was your hard? Okay. Because I could talk to you for fucking hours. I know that we'll probably get a lot of flack for talking about abortion.
Oh my God, we're gonna get death threats.
Yeah, but here's the thing that I think,
which I enjoy. That's the only way I can come.
I've gotten death threats. Have you ever gotten a death threat?
Yes, and I am so tired of like celebrities being like, I got a death threat. It's like, oh, if you've been on Twitter more than 15 minutes and you didn't get a death threat, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck you're doing on here. Yeah. Then. Like, what did you think? Because people want to put out whatever crazy shit they want to put out, and then they don't want any backlash. And it's like, well, you're talking to the masses, you fucking idiot, who can talk back to you. Yeah. So, of course, people are going to disagree with you. And also, people go, oh, the haters. It's like, just because someone's disagreeing with you doesn't make them a hater also. Yeah. People, this is called exchanging ideas, you fucknuts.
D'Elia had a great fucking, he's like, I can't do it justice without doing the way he eloquently puts stuff, and he goes, you made your fucking bed. You made your bed. It's fucking hilarious to think. Like, there's times that like something will come out in the news, I just won't tweet about it. I'll be like, ooh.
Oh, I do. I got a lot. If my fucking drafts folder accidentally went out there, boy, I'd be in some big trouble. I wonder what's in my
drafts folder. I'll speak my drafts folder.
Oh my God.
I would never tweet it because I'm not good at. I can tell you an opinion easier with my intonations.
Yes.
And not make it as rough as when you read it out of my voice and you're like you can beat any Asian on a foot race.
You know what the thing is Twitter's not a real thing. It's not a real place.
No.
It's made up. So all the things that you talk about on Twitter, like, you know, you can be on Twitter and you can be talking about cisgendered and, you know, even this whole thing about like, you know, the Cavanaugh and stuff. And if you go out into the world, you go to Ohio and you start talking to your audience about it, they don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Those aren't the same people. I don't know who's on Twitter that's so different. I guess because you're following just the same people or something.
All I have in my draft folders are tweets about my 600-pound life. My daughters and I were really into that for a period of time.
Oh my God.
That's all. And I have one. I don't know what the fucking thing is, but I have one thing about someone taking one bite.
Yeah.
And I've written it five different ways.
Oh, she's out front.
Oh yeah.
Just tell her.
Yeah. Would you?
Okay. Thank you.
I have. They're all about my 600-pound life and my belief that TLC is hypocritical because they I guess they have two shows. One is my 600-pound life and one is, and so I'm like pick a side. Like
one's just, like, hey, you know, I lost all this weight or something.
I don't know. I'm not certain what it is. I don't know. I'll tell you right now. It said, here's the tweet. It's like TLC, pick a fucking side, and at the time I must have been working on Travel Channel, so I felt safe. Now, no, I'm not going by Travel Channel, but. Pick a side. Either obesity is gross or beautiful and should be celebrated. Sorry, if anyone's listening, they have an obese woman who's living her life.
Oh, right. I think I know which one.
Yeah, and I enjoy the show, but then right after that, it was my 600-pound life, and they're like, they're gross.
You gotta get help.
Yeah, and you're like, well, hold on. Either it's healthy or it's not healthy. Like
my 600-pound life really should be called. This man's an enabler.
My 600-pound life. By the way,
why don't they do it on the person? What is the person getting out of it that's bringing the food?
Wait,
like it's always like a skinny husband.
A lot of times I think it's a disability check. I think it's a disability check. They're looking to get a new tattoo. I've been obsessed with the tattoos that my 600-pound life boyfriends have.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There's like a full blown one guy, and I couldn't stop. I was watching his tattoos, and I'm like, I'm sorry, is that like Mickey Mouse and the Roadrunner on it? Like, who gets that sleeved on their arm?
Right.
But
that's
she's not outside.
She's not out there. She said, "Yes, I'm here."
Just go out and look for it.
Oh, found it. She said, "I found it."
Found what?
The house, I guess.
Yeah. We're obsessed with.
What's your address? Oh, you don't want.
Oh yeah, but fucking close call, Bonnie. I just almost said it. We're obsessed with a show called 90 Day Fiance.
Will you just plug in? Just make sure she's at the right.
Yeah.
Oh, 90 Day Fiance. I don't know anything about it except for I follow Yamanika on.
Is she into it?
She posts stuff about it constantly.
90 Day Fiance is basically guys who never learned big words, like finding women who are trying to get into this country.
Oh my God!
It's
so depressing,
heartbreaking, and then or it's black dudes who just got fresh out of some credit card scam,
right?
Meeting white women who are trying to get into the country. This one guy got. This woman proposed to this one Nigerian guy, and it was so clear from his excitement that he had not shown any of this emotion all fucking day on their hike up to the top of this mountain. He had not shown any emotion whatsoever. When she said she didn't even like propose to him to get married. She gave him an American flag and goes, "You're going to America," as opposed to go, "Will you marry me?"
Yeah.
You're going to America. And he showed so much excitement. I went, "Oh my God, this is a fucking huge red flag with stars and stripes on it."
With stars and
we watched "Say Yes to the Dress" is our big one.
Oh my God,
my daughters.
You guys, Rain and I got into "I Shouldn't Be Alive." You ever watch those?
No, because that'll keep Isla up for. One time we watched "Monsters Inside Me." And Isla's like,
I don't know what that is.
It's people who get bit by an insect or something.
Oh
and it
God,
lives
no,
inside them.
I can't. That's horrible.
And Isla starts spinning out of control.
Oh yeah,
wakes up in the middle of the night. I'm pretty sure there's Black Widow spiders in my bed.
Raina too. She's got that thing where she she thinks that any bad thing that she's ever seen or heard, she's like, could that happen to me? Is that going to happen to me? What's this lump on me? Is that a spider laid an egg in me?
Spider laid an egg? Isla gets bit by spiders maybe 100 times a day. And that's all she's got is spider bites. Dad, I got 4 or 5 spider bites. And I'm like, no one gets fucking spider bites, Isla. Yes. She got in bed with me last night. She came with her headgear and she goes, it's really quiet in my room. I was like, do you need to get in bed with me? And she's like, would you mind? I go, come on. And then I was like,
isn't it great though, waking up with your kid, like looking over and seeing them sleeping? What the hell is going on? Okay, I don't know. It doesn't matter. She said be there in 5, so I don't know where she was.
She might be getting a coffee. I gotta fucking feed.
She said I just talked to Terry at this address. Who's Terry?
Oh my God, how much you want to bet she's in the bedroom with my daughter and they're reading her fucking tarot cards?
Oh my God. When does your wife get back?
Next Tuesday. I leave though to go on a cruise. So I'm going on a Cowhead's cruise with Bobby.
Oh my.
Yeah, and I'm not drinking.
Oh yes, you're doing Sober October again.
Yeah.
Are you excited about that?
I think I bit off more than I could chew. Sobriety's one thing. Well, last year was very simple. Another thing. I'm doing a cruise, and our challenges we're wearing.
It's boring, right?
No, we're doing a challenge now. We did 15 hot yogas last time. We're doing a challenge this time where we all wear these heart trackers and find out who burns the most calories throughout the month. And so I got super cocky with Joe today, and was like, we scheduled out like we get a belt. The person who burns the most calories gets a belt, like a legit championship belt. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna lose. I think I'm gonna beat you. And I saw something in Joe's eyes that actually scared me. And at one point I said it, he looked at me and I looked away. Like he goes, you gotta hear, I'm fucking up the audio of what he said, because if you've heard it, you know what I'm talking about. But he goes, you understand, man, this is my skill set. This is what this is my strength. And he posted this fucking picture. He just texted us this picture of himself today. Look at this and tell me if this doesn't look fucking intimidating. Oh my God. All he's texting, because you get points for your workout. And he wrote, I plan on looking like a fucking superhuman.
Oh shit.
That's Joe.
Oh damn.
No shit, right?
I don't know, but you know what kind of diet is he on? Because even guys that look like that, they can have heart attacks if they're eating all meat.
Joe's got 19 different doctors.
Damn it.
I don't have any luck.
I guess he's not going to have a heart attack.
I know. That was my only prayer is that he gets injured really bad.
Oh my God.
I'm looking for like
So what are you going to do? What's your plan?
I got to work out tonight. I got to feed the girls and work out again tonight. I got to do 2 days to beat them. So on the cruise, I'm going to plan on running. I'm going to try to run about 48 miles on the cruise. Yep. So it's like a 4-day cruise. So I figure if I break it up in 13-mile increments, and just bang, 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 bang every day, just heart rate monitor on and go, guys, I'll be back in 2 hours. I'm gonna run 13, and then just try to fucking outwork
13 miles in 2 hours is a pretty good fucking pace.
I did a half marathon about that.
Wow.
Yeah, but no, I'm sure I didn't. I'm sure people can fact check that and go, Bert, actually it was 2 hours and 13 minutes. I did it with Jim Florentine. You never heard that story?
No.
Oh, I did it with Jim Florentine. We were in Tampa. I said, hey, I'm running the St. Pete half marathon. Do you want to do it with me? And Florentine's like, I don't really run, but yeah, I'll do it. So he just bought all new clothes, came out and ran with me. And he ran 6 miles. And he's like, I gotta take a shit. So he goes into Hilton, takes a shit, and then jumps back into the race. Fucking skipped like 6 miles and jumped in the last like 50 yards and ran. And then as they were doing the awards, they're like, and for males 50 and over, ... James Florentine.
No,
he's like,
no.
I fucking placed.
But he like
you
lied,
have a chip
right?
on. You have a chip on. No, he didn't lie. He just did. He wanted to go finish the race and go get a beer. So he's like, he wasn't trying to cheat. He was just
oh shit.
And so he was like, I just want to meet up with Bert and get a beer. He's got to be done by now.
Right.
But he finished the race in like an hour 30.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he went into a Holiday Inn and had breakfast there, went in, took a shit, and then jumped back into the race and finished and placed.
Oh my God.
So my only hope is that I'm going to
He took that away from someone.
Joe's got his special coming out on Netflix, so he's going to be promoting that.
Right.
He does
What's
2
it called?
podcasts.
I
It's called Strange Times.
Right.
He's got like all this shit going on. So, and he does these hour-long explosive workouts, like legit,
right,
next level. My goal is to just do 4 hours a day and just outwork him slowly.
My God.
Just outpace him slowly. He said he's going to try to kill me. He's like, I'm going to try to break you. And I was like,
who else is doing this?
Me, fucking Tom Segura, and Ari. Ari's already like, I'm already coming in last place. Do
Ari
walks count?
seems like he could do pretty good.
He's not. He doesn't work out. He doesn't care to work out. He's like,
he does yoga.
My body's perfect. My body's perfect the way it is. He only did yoga with us. He is. He's in great shape physically, but and Tom's no threat.
You don't have to worry about Tom.
He was asking. He was like, "Hey, Bonnie's in town this week," and part of me was like, "Oh, you should have her on the podcast."
Do you want to play tennis, Tom?
Oh yeah, I remember that. When you guys were like, "We're the #1 comedy couple in the business," I thought that was fucking hilarious.
We're always trying to get a comedy couple to take us on in tennis, because Rich and I play tennis.
Really?
You know, we haven't played much this year, but we in the past, every night that he's around, we would go play tennis. And we got pretty good. We're very competitive with one another. So we want to be on the same team for once.
Ooh.
Against a comedy couple.
I don't think you're going to get Christina out playing tennis anytime soon.
She doesn't...
No, that's not her. I don't think... Christina is in... She just had a baby, but her first baby lost weight immediately. I think she's good with diet and stuff. I think she's good with working out, but she's not like a fucking out there break a sweat. I couldn't be wrong, though.
Well... Natasha and Moshe, I guess.
Who are the comedy couples? Natasha, Moshe, Christine and Tom, you and Rich.
That's it.
That's it?
Aaron Berg and Christine.
Oh, yeah. There was Sam.
Oh, you know who is what the fuck is his name? Joe List.
Oh yeah, Joe List and his
Sarah Tolamash. Is that how you say her last name?
I know it's Sarah.
You know, whatever. You know, we were one of the first ones to really.
You really were one of the first ones in my book. Well, I guess Lynn and Mitch.
Oh yeah, Lynn and Mitch.
Yeah.
God damn them.
Do you feel like when something happens in the house and it's a funny thing? Do you guys ever go, that's me, or that's you, that's so works in your act?
Very, very few times that's happened. He definitely does more personal. Lots of times I'll say, hey, you should do this. This would work for you, I think. And sometimes he'll say something that he doesn't know is funny, and then I'll just take it. Oh, he doesn't know. Joe
and Tom have been really good at when I say, because I don't know, I'll say things I don't know is funny, and Joe and Tom are always like, that's a bit, right? And I'm like, nope. And they're like, okay, that's a bit.
Yeah.
Like I did the one. I told them one time, I was like, I didn't know that Anne Frank and Helen Keller were this. I thought they were the same person, and they were like, you're fucking joking, right? Today I just said to Joe,
that's insane.
He was asking me how I write, because I already wrote a new hour from my last one.
Yeah.
Like 6 months, and so he's like, how do you write?
Wow.
Well, yeah, but I write very quick, and once I turn my brain on for writing, like once I'm like, oh yeah. It's an open palette. Like, let's just do this.
Right.
I really bring in material almost too quickly.
Right.
Like, and I can really sell something.
But you're a salesman too, yeah. So yeah, you can.
I can finesse a bit. I
can have a great bit and not make it work.
I am the opposite.
I can fucking
I can take a bit that is very mediocre and make it destroy.
Right.
And so it's like it's a little bit of like. It's almost like a bad talent to have, because what I should do is what Chris Rock does and go up and speak it, because Chris Rock can sell a fucking turd.
Yes, right.
He can sell a turd.
He does a thing where he never enters into a joke unless he's sure every single person in the audience understands the setup.
Yeah.
So he'll do the setup 3, 4, 5. He doesn't care how many times he has to do that fucking setup. He'll just keep repeating it till he's sure every fucking person knows. You got it? Now we can move on to the punchline.
The punchline, or the premise, he said, Like, what do you mean? And I said, well, like, I don't know. I just bought a gun for a bit. Like, I wanted to have a bit about owning a gun. And he was like, oh my God, is that how you started? And I go, no. I haven't been able to find a way to get into the bit.
Right.
And I went, oh, that is a good way to get in the bit. And he's like, dude, you bought a fucking gun so you could write a bit about it? And I was like, yeah.
So my friend Lynn is like that. She says
oh my God, I thought that was Lynn. It was my daughter,
fucking
Georgia.
shit.
Somebody's looking for you.
Oh, okay.
Georgia, this is Bonnie.
Hi.
Bonnie, this is Georgia. Georgia, can you walk them back here?
I can. The dogs are kind of.
Okay, Halston will do it. Okay.
Hello, nice to meet you.
George, come in here for a second. Watch this. This is how organized my daughter is. I know what you were about to say.
What?
We'll say it on the count of 3. When I said, Georgia, come in here for a second, you went, on the count of 3, we'll say, I thought you were going to say. 1, 2, 3. I have homework.
Yeah.
You're so...
You want to know what I've been doing?
What?
Homework and laundry and dinner.
Ooh,
You're making dinner?
Yeah.
What are you making?
I don't know. Mom said to make spaghetti.
You're making spaghetti?
I was going to. You don't want me to?
No, that's totally fine. I was going to get pizzas.
Okay, do that.
Is that easier?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you sure? Are you really doing laundry?
Yeah.
Did you already start the
I did.
you started the pasta?
No, not the pot of laundry.
Okay. Would you rather pasta or pizza?
Pizza.
Okay.
I don't have to do anything.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Hey, can I ask you a question? When we told you about Santa Claus, did you really know?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
What man? Hey, Lynn, how you doing?
Great.
Lynn, this is my daughter, Georgia.
Hi.
Hi, Georgia. What's going on?
Homework?
Yeah, you look like you're really excelling at it.
You really knew, George?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Ah, the joke's
Did
on
Isla
you.
know? Did Isla know?
I don't think she did, but because in your video, like,
Don't watch it.
Oh,
no, in their video,
Bias.
there was like
Bonnie.
elves in the back, but they were all the same elf.
Oh,
So
what
it
she's
was
talking
like,
about is one year they tried to. Don't ever say that you knew it because of the video.
Oh no,
Don't-
I knew it.
they-
also,
they
because I
hold
had
the
a better
fucking
idea. I
phones.
was like, why don't we point it at the chimney? And you're like, no, don't do that.
They put a GoPro on top of the chimney to catch Santa
Yeah,
one year.
that's
And
hilarious.
so I went in and I spliced it out. I let it roll and then walked in, spliced that out in iMovie, and grabbed the GoPro. Right, jumped down with a bunch of bells on, shing shing shing. Had a flashlight hit around, had a mitten on, grabbed the GoPro, turned it around, and then walked around. And I showed it to them, and when I showed it, Georgia was like, is this real? And my dad was like, buddy, you might have just fucked up your daughter. But you knew from that video? Don't tell me you knew from
Yeah.
that video.
No, I was like, well, it was kind of weird how like you had just gone to bed and then he just came, and I was like, that's a little weird.
I'm not buying it.
And
I'm
then
not
like
buying
the
it.
elves all looked the same because they were all kind of like bouncing at the same time.
This was when she was 12.
When I was 5, my dad didn't even tell me that God existed. So.
Oh, Georgia doesn't believe in God. She just said that to me in the car the other day.
I think that's smart.
All right, we should probably wrap this up. And we'll feed my daughters. Georgia, I'll be in a sec, baby. So wait, what didn't we cover? I feel like.
We have to talk about the Voss roast.
Oh my God!
Because he
Oh my God!
will lose his mind if I came and did this podcast without
Hey, will you crack those
talking
doors?
about it.
It's hot as fuck in here.
I was trying to look for some fans. I had some patience.
Halston, help her.
So go to
help her.
vossroast.com.
Hold on.
For the greatest roast in history.
So the roast is this was 2 years ago on his 60th birthday.
Yes. 1
You
year ago, yeah.
you at the Black Pussycat
It was at the Village Underground.
Village Underground. You put on a roast. It was Colin.
He asked me I said, what do you want for your birthday? And he said, a roast, which that's only Rich would like make someone go so, a couple years earlier, I threw him this huge surprise birthday party on a New York rooftop with all his friends. That was pretty good. And, he was like, once in a lifetime thing. You think he'd be like, no, listen, hon, you've done enough already. No. I want a roast and then a big party after. And so I planned this whole roast, asked all his friends to do it. They agreed. He goes, can you televise it? I was like, what am I, a fucking executive? So I found a production company. They came in, they filmed it, and
edited it. It's fucking awesome.
And then
I was there. And I just happened to be in New York that day, and I went down and sat in the hallway.
Right, because it was right after Skankfest, which I think you were on Skankfest.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
And it was absolutely great. And you filmed the whole thing and put it out. Is you need to get that?
No.
Is that your daughter?
No.
Who is it?
That's my husband.
Oh, answer it right now. Answer it and put him on.
All right. Hello?
How did they go?
I'm with Bert right now. We're talking about Voss roast.
Are you on the air? You're doing this podcast now?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I heard it was pretty good. It was a pretty good roast.
It was a great roast, Rich.
It was fabulous. This is amazing that you get to do Bert Kreischer's podcast and I get to get on the air. But I'm finishing up watching Ozark right now. It's amazing.
All right. Okay.
I have nothing. Goodbye.
I love you. Bye.
Yeah, it was awesome. And you released that on
Vimeo because there was some content in there we didn't want to have to cut out. I did end up cutting out some of the stuff, especially from my set that seemed a little, I did a joke about the bombing at Ariana Grande's concert that in retrospect I was like, it might have been a little rough. So there was a couple things we cut out, but I didn't want those guys to feel like they had to water down their stuff. So it's on so we put it on Vimeo and it's done fucking amazing.
Is it free on Vimeo?
It's not. It's $5 to rent, $10 to own, but you should own it because it's worth watching twice.
Lynn's over here doing kettlebell swings now.
Yes.
It's just swings now. I'm going to do lunges, so I'm just
Okay. And that's enough.
I bought your present.
And
thank you.
So it's like Jim Florentine, Jim Norton, who else was on
Big J, Colin, Voss,
Louis J.
Gomez,
Judy Gold.
Yeah. It was all the basically pretty much the tough
best
crowd crew.
Roasters in the world.
It was the best.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines, I think Big J said Jim Norton's mom was a librarian, his dad was a pond turtle.
See, that's the thing. It's like I don't even remember some of these jokes. When we were doing the edits, I would start laughing because I was fucking there. But I mean, I was drinking pretty heavily that night. But
it's great. So how can people get it?
Oh, and Bobby Kelly was so fantastic on it. So go to vossroast.com or you can go to Vimeo and search up Voss Roast.
It really is. If you're a comedy fan, it's well worth it.
Yeah.
It's super. I posted,
it's nothing like the Comedy Central.
Oh yeah, it is
bullshit.
It's fucking
it's like
awesome.
A real underground.
I think Anthony was there from Opie and Anthony.
Yeah.
Keith wouldn't get on stage.
Right. There's a lot of heckling and people, dealing with the people in the audience and stuff. There's a lot of comics in the audience that were,
I was dying laughing. And I was perfectly high and perfectly drunk. And I was in that little back corner by the stairs.
Right.
And I was fucking doubled over. It was such a funny fucking roast.
I was glad you were there.
So do you have any interest in doing any more documentaries?
I want to do more documentaries. I want to do. I'm working on another movie right now. I have something in the works with somebody that hopefully I can.
You did the movie with Nikki Glaser, right?
I did a short film with Nikki Glaser that I have a couple meetings this week about. So fingers crossed. And and I keep I just keep writing and directing stuff I love it so much. I keep reminding myself that at some point I have to get paid for stuff. Like I always forget. Like I write jokes for my friends, for their roasts and things that they do, and they offer to pay me, and I'm always like, no, it's fun. I love doing it. But then at some point I should just get paid.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I don't know if it comes from afar, but.
Here, talk towards this microphone. I think it may be a lot easier.
This is Lynn Shawcroft.
I'm just going to pop in for a second. Hey, I'm Lynn, and this is No Bias. I almost was going to go get a law degree to sue a certain network because Bonnie isn't on the roasts, but shadows of her are.
Thank you, Lynn.
Fucking Lynn.
Lynn believes I should be all over TV. Thank God someone cares about me.
Well, I appreciate you doing this.
Thank you for having me. I love you.
You're fucking
and
awesome.
You're the best.
I had so much fun talking about our kids.
Yeah,
I
me
had
too.
so much fun talking about our kids.
You're the dad comic. That's what I heard.
Now you're going to see me go, yo, yeah. Oh, fuck me.
You're doing great.
And your podcast is called
My Wife Hates Me.
So everyone go check it out. When are you going to do a special?
I don't know. I wait till someone tells me. So it points me to the stage, I'll do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bonnie McFarlane.
Ugh.